Today I'm going to be talking about Lyme disease, and there are millions of people struggling with Lyme disease. In fact, there are millions and millions more that have Lyme disease and don't realize it's what they're struggling with. So today I'll be going through the top foods, supplements, essential oils, and natural treatments to help you combat and overcome Lyme. In fact, you see some stuff on the board. I've got a lot more that's not on the board I'll be talking about as well. Now, Lyme can develop when you get bit, typically by a tick. Now, it's not always a tick. They also believe it could be a spider bite, but Lyme can be passed onto a person. And you know, Lyme is something that a lot of times people are prescribing antibiotics for, or antifungal medications or antiparasites, but you know what? It doesn't ultimately work when you're looking at the conventional treatments today. Here's the key I'm going to share with you as we get into Lyme disease. Lyme disease is not about treating the Lyme. That's the biggest thing I'll tell you. If you are a person and you have Lyme disease or know somebody else that has, and they go and they're trying to treat the condition, it will fail 100% of the time. The way you heal Lyme disease is by naturally strengthening the body to where your own body can fight it off and get it to the point where it's dormant and at bay, killing off Lyme in that way. That's how you heal Lyme disease. And all these tips I'll be going over is how to beat Lyme disease the natural way, not by treating it, but by supporting the body and helping it heal itself. All right, let me see who's joining me. I know, again, we've got people from all over the world right now. All right, here we go. Looks like we have Ashley Galvin is watching. Hey, Ashley, thanks for joining me here today. We've got Lynn watching in Pretoria, South Africa. Hey, Lynn, thanks for joining me here. We've got Lily Soka from Michigan watching. We've got Janice McGowan from Prince Edward Island. All right, we've got, let's see who else here. We've got Dina Martin watching from Kentucky. She's asking questions about Rocky Mountain spotted fever. We'll talk about that in a minute. Very similar, can be similar symptoms. And actually, you're going to do the same thing I have up on this board for Rocky Mountain spotted fever here as well. Thelma Bateman from South Carolina. Hey, Thelma, thanks for joining me here today, everybody. All right, guys, let's go ahead and dive right in and talk about how to beat Lyme naturally. So again, here's the biggest thing I want to point out. If you have Lyme disease, here's what happens. Most people go into, whether it's a conventional medical doctor or even a naturopathic doctor, and typically what they do is they'll prescribe them an antibiotic or a natural antibiotic or anti-natural viral herbs, and that's how they treat the body. Here's the truth. People with Lyme, their body tends to be run down, and the reason why they actually have Lyme symptoms is because their system is weak. Their immune system is weak, their spleen, their immune system. And you know, there are a lot of people today who have Lyme disease or Lyme living in them, and they have zero symptoms whatsoever. So what's the difference between those people? Well, the people that don't have the symptoms, their immune system, their body is strong enough to a point to where they can resist it. It's a similar thing. Listen, all of us have bugs in our body. You know what? Every person that I know has some type of cancerous cell in their body or some type of bad bacteria or some type of bad virus. But if your immune system and body is strong enough, hey, it keeps them at bay, it fights them on, it fights them off. So again, it's not about killing what's inside of you. It's about strengthening your body to where your body kills it for you. I hope that makes sense, but that's the strategy you have to follow if you truly want to heal from Lyme disease. So let's dive right in. Now, Lyme disease, let's talk about this in Chinese medicine. There are typically certain organs you really want to focus on and help. Tend to be in Chinese medicine, you really want to focus on your spleen and that area of your digestive system, your spleen and pancreas. You also really want to focus on supporting your colon and lungs because that's a massive part of your immune system, and also your kidney and adrenal glands. So those areas are what you really want to look at because those really regulate your immune system. So here's the deal. Here are the foods you absolutely want to remove from your diet. Processed sugar, or most sugar in general. Dairy products, gluten, and refined grains. Let me tell you why you want to remove these from your diet. For the most part, these foods cause excess dampness in your body. Now, in Chinese medicine, your body can be too hot or too cold, too damp or too dry, too much movement or too little movement. People with Lyme disease diagnosis tend to be too damp. okay? They tend to be very damp, and oftentimes they have stagnation as well, but they're almost always very damp. Now, when we hear the word dampness in Chinese medicine, one of the first conditions that comes up is Candida, okay? That's an overgrowth of yeast in your body, okay? A very similar thing happens with Lyme here. You have an overgrowth of this Lyme that's affecting the body. And so what you really want to be able to do, same thing with Candida. A lot of people, when they have Candida, their doctors say, oh, let's give them antibiotics. It never works. In fact, what happens is when you take an antibiotic, not only does it kill the Candida or the Lyme, but now what happens is it kills the good bacteria as well. So now all of a sudden, all of this bad bacteria or viruses or parasites grow back even stronger after the use of antibiotics. People need to know the truth that it's not the solution, not the long-term solution to helping somebody heal from Candida or Lyme or even parasites there as well. So the number one thing you got to do, remove sugar, dairy, gluten, and refined grains. Here's the reason why. They cause dampness in the body. Think about this. If you go into a very wet climate, like go to Florida, more mold grows there than almost anywhere else in the country, in the USA. The reason is it's very damp, it's warm and it's moist. It's a breeding ground for bacteria to grow, or viruses, or just pathogens. So when your body gets damp, we want to work on drying your body out. We want to increase the dryness to eat up that mucus and dampness. But the worst foods for causing dampness are sugar, dairy, gluten, refined grains. Here's others. Hydrogenated oils like canola oil and corn oil are very dampening to the body. What else is dampening? Or even certain fruits like bananas are dampening. Egg whites are dampening as well. So again, wheat bread, egg whites, cheeses, regular milk, these things are very dampening to the body and can increase your likelihood of having a Lyme reaction and weakening your immune system, so stay away from all of those foods. Now, the next thing you want to do is consume certain foods to help you naturally fight the Lyme. And again, remember this, you're not fighting the Lyme. The antibiotic is not going to work to fight the Lyme. Your own body, you've got to get your body to where it's strong, it's energized, your immune system is really, really strong to where your body fights and kills off Lyme disease by itself. That is the secret. So in order to build your immune system and the health of your colon, small intestine, your organs, well, let me ask you, what food should you eat? Well, foods that help repair the gut lining, right? Foods that help you overcome leaky gut, and really that are easy on the body. That's one of the keys. Foods that are easy on the body and help boost your immune system. Number one, you got it, bone broth. Whether it be a bone broth in a powder form you add to a smoothie, or simply drinking chicken broth or beef broth. Chicken broth is the best. Type 2 collagen is what you want. But consuming bone broth daily. Now, in ancient Chinese medicine, if somebody went to an Oriental medical doctor and they had Lyme disease or something similar, here's what they would have done. They would have told them to go home and to rest. They'd say, hey, go out, get a lot of sun, and do a little sunbathing, go on daily walks out in nature, and then we're going to put you on what's called a one-pot diet. So remember this is big. Now this is true if you've got any immune-related issues. This is Lyme disease. This is chronic parasite infections. This is a chronic immune, where your immune system is really run down. But in Chinese medicine, they would have said, okay, get some sunshine, go for walks, reduce stress, and then we want you to follow a one-pot diet where you're going to consume basically a crock pot diet. You're going to do chicken broth, lots of vegetables, lots of herbs, and maybe a little bit of rice and chicken. And that's what you're going to consume for pretty much every meal. That's what they would have had them done in ancient Chinese medicine, is consume meals like that and then drink herbal tea all day long. That's right, herbal teas with certain herbs that help dry up dampness and kill things like Lyme. They would have had them drink that tea all day. Palo d'Arco tea, maybe oregano tea, ginger tea. They would have been having them do these drinks all day long and consuming these soups, and it would be predominantly this liquid diet or this soups and teas that really helped heal the body is what they would have done. So again here, bone broth, cooked vegetables, the herb ginger. Now within Chinese medicine, certain foods help nourish and heal certain areas. Foods that are a light yellow and white color in Chinese medicine are rejuvenating and healing for your colon, which is where all of your good bacteria is, and your lungs, a big part of your immune system. So again, look at all the white foods here. Chicken broth it's a light pale yellow, right? Cooked vegetables, ginger's that sort of light pale yellow color. You know what else is? Garlic. So are onions, so are mushrooms, so are pears. These are the foods that are that white or that typically a very pale yellow color, are known to be the foods that are the most powerful for enhancing your immune system. And think about how true this is. Bone broth or chicken soup for centuries has been known to help the immune system. So has ginger, so has garlic, right? All of these things together, these are the top foods you want to be having in your diet on a daily basis to help bolster and strengthen your immune system, to help you fight off Lyme disease. By the way, I want to say thanks to everybody who's watching this right now. Hey, do me a favor. There are millions of people around the globe suffering with Lyme disease, and typically they go into their doctor, they get put on a prescription antibiotic, and they never get well because that just makes them worse over time. Hey, be on mission with me right now. Take a minute, punch that share button, click that love button. Let's help spread the word that food and lifestyle are the ultimate forms of medicine here as well. All right, let's talk about supplements. If you have Lyme or know somebody that does, here are the top supplements they can take, and I have 2 others I'm going to add. Number 1 is probiotics. Remember, we've got to bolster up that immune system. Doing lots of probiotics. You want to do an SBO probiotic, that's a soil-based probiotic, and a food-based probiotic. I would do 2 and do 1 serving of each a day. An SBO probiotic and a food-based probiotic. So an SBO probiotic will have probiotics like Bacillus subtilis and Bacillus coagulans, whereas another probiotic, a food-based, will have more lactobacillus and bifidobacterium. So those different types of probiotics are what those 2 types are going to have. But lots of probiotics. Number 2, collagen. Now you can get collagen from a bone broth powdered protein, so you're adding bone broth. So that's an option, or just doing a straight collagen protein. But listen, if you're doing a collagen powder, make sure it has type 2 collagen. That's the one you want with type 2 collagen. B complex. Oftentimes we really want to help support cellular activity and energy. A B complex that's food-based is going to help you do that. Also, adaptogenic herbs specifically are great. Reishi mushroom, ashwagandha, holy basil, even different types of ginseng, whether it's American or Asian ginseng, all of these can really help support the body. These are some of the top supplements. I also do want to mention with Lyme, I think certain herbal teas can be greatly beneficial. I mentioned earlier Pau d'Arco. Pau d'Arco is probably the most powerful herbal tea for getting rid of Candida, but it's going to serve the same benefits in fighting Lyme disease. So I would say that's a great one on a regular basis to do, is Pau d'Arco. In addition, and I would actually do a tea where you mix Pau d'Arco and ginger and do those 2 together. Astragalus is another tea that can really benefit the body there as well. And then different herbs that have antimicrobial benefits but yet are gentle on the body. But if I were you, again, Pau d'Arco and ginger would be my top 2, and also adding in something like astragalus could also benefit. And I would do actually 3 glasses of tea a day and just be drinking that tea all day for a period of 90 days. That's a total of 3 months. If you do that in terms of supplementation, you're going to see great results there, I guarantee it. Another thing to know, I want to jump back up here to mention here with Lyme. In Chinese medicine, you don't want to consume foods that are very cold. The worst things that you could eat for Lyme disease would include ice cream, actually even ice water. You also don't want to do a lot of vegetable juice. That's right, you don't want to do vegetable juice. Now, a ginger shot would be okay, but again, a lot of these things, ice cream and raw vegetables and vegetable juices, they cause more dampness in the body. Remember, we want to dry the body out. You want to do things like ginger, that is very sort of warming and immune enhancing. And then foods that are very drying include things that are bitter in nature. Think about this. Our diet is predominantly sweet here in America and even in Europe and Australia. We have a lot of sweets, right? We're missing bitter and sour in our diet. If you want to overcome dampness, which causes Lyme to stay in your body, you want to increase the bitter foods. So most herbs are bitter. That's why I mentioned pau d'arco is very bitter. Orange peel is very bitter. Arugula and a lot of green leafy vegetables have a bitter taste to them. You want to get more bitter foods, bitter vegetables, bitter herbs in your diet on a regular basis. Can absolutely help you in beating Lyme disease. All right, let's talk about essential oils here. Thyme oil is one of my favorites. You know, thyme contains thymol, which has antiviral, antibacterial, and antiparasitic properties and is gentle on the body. It's really great for the immune system and the kidneys and adrenals. Doing thyme can be a good option. My favorite essential oil for Lyme disease is holy basil oil. Holy basil essential oil has tremendous benefits. Now, it's very unique in that it's almost like a crossbreed between your traditional basil plant and clove. In fact, when you smell holy basil, it has a little bit of that. Actually, the reason it smells a hint like clove because it contains the same compound in eugenol, which is really great for fighting and killing off parasites, but also it really supporting your immune system and acting as an adaptogen at the same time. Holy basil, probably one of my top 5 essential oils in the entire world. So holy basil, thyme, myrrh oil. Myrrh is great because it's very bitter. Okay, very bitter. In fact, if you've got gum disease rubbing a little bit on your gums, that's one of the things I'd mention. If you have Lyme disease, one of the best ways to use myrrh is to diffuse it, to rub it on topically, or to wash your mouth out with myrrh, and then it'll sit on your gums. You'll get just the smallest amount internally, but that bitter flavor and taste actually can help expel and kill off Lyme. Orange. We know orange is also bitter. They used to call it bitter orange peel. Was a historic remedy that's been used for thousands of years there as well. And then rosemary and ylang ylang. You know, rosemary is great for its anti-inflammatory properties and for supporting the adrenals and kidneys. Ylang ylang is great for improving the mood. If you are a person that struggles with Lyme disease and depression, you're just kind of sick and tired of feeling awful all the time, using essential oils like ylang ylang and orange together can really help lift your spirits and mood. So again, for that reason, I put ylang ylang on the board here as well. And by the way, if you're enjoying this live training video I'm doing right now and want me to do more of these, take a minute right now, punch that share button, click that like button, help me spread the word that food is medicine. There are millions of people that need to know the truth and how to fight Lyme disease. And the shocking fact is there are millions of people that have Lyme disease and they don't even know it's the cause of their issues. Remember, as I'm talking about here, you don't want to have a focus, if you're working with a doctor, on killing Lyme. You want to focus on just strengthening your body, and then your body will kill the Lyme. Remember this, the body heals itself, okay? All these things here, they may kill Lyme for a period of time, but to keep it at bay and to really heal your body, you got to strengthen and nourish your body, get it functioning properly, get it as healthy as possible to where then it kills Lyme itself. You've got your own immune system. Again, your body knows how to kill these invaders. Let's talk about emotions, and then I'm going to go over natural treatments last and talk about things like stem cell therapy. Probably, and if you're a person, this last thing I'm going to talk about, you'll realize it is probably, if you want to see a fast result, it's probably the fastest way you will feel significantly different with the last treatment protocol I'll teach here. But let's talk about emotions here. So here are some emotions that you want to really avoid, and then some things you want to do. You know, within Chinese medicine, you have something called your body's qi. Now, qi is spelled Qi, okay? So Qi. And Qi, essentially, qi refers to your level of energy. So imagine, you know, when you see somebody, they're like, eyes are glowing, they're energetic, you can tell, wow, this person is energized. In Chinese medicine, you'd say that person's got a lot of qi. When somebody is sort of depressed and tired, they're just worn out. They're just like, man, their tank is empty. They'd say in Chinese medicine, man, that person has low qi. You got to boost qi. You got to boost up your body's natural energy and resources if you're going to combat Lyme disease. And the emotion that sucks the most energy and life out of your kidneys and adrenals is the emotion of fear. If you have a past history of fear, here's an example of fear. Maybe you're a person that your system got worn down because you have had a lot of fear. Maybe it was fear of disappointing your parents, disappointing others, disappointing your coworkers, disappointing your spouse. all of those things, that emotion of fear or fear of failure, you're afraid of failing, that emotion will drain your body's chi and your body's energy. So you really have to combat that, and I'm going to teach you how to do that. The next thing here are grief and depression. So where fear affects the adrenals and kidneys, grief and depression affect your colon and your lungs, so essentially your entire immune system, okay? Grief and depression affect those. So a lot of times people will have these Lyme symptoms come on. Sometimes it's after a tick bite, but sometimes it's after a traumatic emotional experience, such as experiencing a lot of fear, or maybe losing a loved one or something like that happened. The way you combat fear is through affirmations and really going through and focusing on all of not just the good things you've had in life, but fear is one of those things you got to combat head on, and you've got to do it with a community. You've got to get people around you. So the number one tip to overcoming fear is having a positive community around you and people that build you up verbally and emotionally. Let me ask you this. Do you have people around you that instill fear in you? Do you have people around you to where you're letting them run your life and you're not running it for yourselves? I see this all the time. I've had patients come in where their parents have dictated what they're doing in life, and they're so afraid that they're going to let somebody down. If you have people like that in your life, you got to kind of push them out of your life a little bit. And what I want you to do now is write down those 3 people that bring you the most life, bring the best in you, encourage you, and strengthen you naturally, and who are going to help you overcome fear. So that's one way to overcome fear. The second way is really meditate on, now listen, I know we've got people watching this that have various religious perspectives and backgrounds, but for myself, I'm just going to share with you my own mom. When my mom was battling cancer, we had her quote Bible verses, and in her quote that, the Lord is with her, so whom shall she fear? If the Lord is for her, who could be against her? So for my mom, she really meditated on scriptures. And for you, hey, if it's not the Christian Bible or Jewish Torah, if that's not for you, then hey, find something else. But again, it's really important that you have something that you meditate on where you realize it's not just you. You're not by yourself. You're not isolated. You have a community that's for you. You have family and friends that are for you. You have a God that's for you. When you meditate on those things, it pushes fear to the side. It's one of the important things in overcoming Lyme disease. Now, the next thing here, let's combat grief and depression. 2 great ways to do that. Practice gratefulness and do things that give you joy, okay? So getting grateful, wake up in the morning and just start saying everything you're grateful for. Now, I love to listen to some Christian praise and worship music. Hey, if you've got other positive music and vibes you like to listen to, hey, absolutely go for it. But first thing in the morning, I just wake up and I say everything I'm grateful for. This is something I've had patients do as well. So spend some time saying what they're grateful for and then being joyful, okay? Being joyful. Now, this is something that's talked about. Laughter is the best medicine, or, even biblically speaking, they talk about how a happy heart or laughter is good for the soul, right? So joy. So getting joyful, one way to do that is by singing and dancing. That's right. Now listen, hey, close your door at home, put on some music you're embarrassed for people to listen, that you're listening to, some type of R&B, maybe some old school, I don't know. I don't know what you listen to. So, but again, get in a room, sing and dance. I'm telling you, it's one of the greatest ways to build joy in your life. And then get around those people that make you laugh, you have fun with. Implement, and listen, the thing is, don't just do this once. You've got to take these things as getting grateful and practicing joyful, put it in your schedule. Literally put it in your schedule that I'm going to spend 20 minutes dancing in my room by myself, listening to, some sort of music that's really happy and joyful. But I'm telling you, these things sound a little silly, but I'm telling you, they work. They worked for my mom in beating cancer. They've worked with thousands of patients I've worked with. I'm telling you, these things matter. The diet matters too. These lifestyle and taking care of yourself emotionally is critical. And I'll tell you this, especially with people diagnosed with Lyme disease, taking care of your emotional health is just as important as all of these other things listed here. I'm going to talk about one more thing here. And this is something a lot of people don't even know exists when it comes to fighting Lyme disease. And by the way, take a minute right now, if you're enjoying this live training and you believe this is truth right now, that these things can help heal the body, take a minute right now, punch that share button, click that love button, help me spread the word and be on mission with me that food is medicine, lifestyle is medicine as well. So now there is a natural treatment protocol that's harnessing your body's own cells. Now, you may or may not have heard of stem cell therapy before, but there's stem cells where they can take your body's own stem cells. Now, with treating Lyme disease, this is typically done where a doctor takes adipose tissue, that's your body's fat. They'll take a little bit, equivalent of like a couple tablespoons of fat off of you. They will culture it and pull out your body's stem cells. Now, stem cells are incredible. Think about this, when a new baby is forming and turning from a fetus into a child, it's really stem cells creating new and healthy tissues in the body. Stem cells, if you inject stem cells somewhere else in your body, they actually will differentiate and actually sort of patch up a hole. Imagine you had a big chunk taken out of your arm. You inject stem cells in that area, they will create new and healthy tissue. Stem cells today are used for treating arthritis. They're used for treating chronic injuries and pain, but they're also used now for treating immune-related conditions. And so again, there's lots of doctors out there I know that do stem cell for Lyme disease, stem cell for COPD, stem cell for arthritis, or for an ACL tear, and for a number of other health conditions, diabetes even. A lot of people are turning to stem. So I did want to mention that as a last treatment, doing stem cell. In fact, I know a great clinic in Florida called NSI Stem Cell. That's NSI Stem Cell that actually does this. But again, there's stem cell places all over the country. But I know that I've seen great results. But again, it's NSI Stem Cell. You can just Google search that online, NSI Stem Cell, if you want to know somebody that does it. But again, I know there are some really great quality doctors all over the country that practice and do this type of stem cell in their clinic. But here's the big thing. Remember this. Taking antibiotics and conventional medical treatments will never completely heal Lyme disease. Typically, they'll make it worse because it's going to cause an overgrowth of more pathogenic bacteria and viruses in your body. What you really want to do is, remember this, you want to strengthen your body to where it heals itself. Remove the dampening foods, the dairy, the sugar, the gluten from your diet. Start consuming foods. Remember I talked about that light pale yellow foods or those white foods? Ginger, garlic, onions, mushroom, pears, cooked vegetables, bone broth, through lots of soups and herbal teas. Remember I mentioned that mixture earlier. Palo d'Arco and ginger tea combined, okay? Doing the supplements like probiotics and a bone broth powder with type 2 collagen, essential oils, holy basil being one of my favorites there, and again, transforming your emotions. What I would do is all these things in combination together, and I'm telling you, it can work incredible things in your body overcoming Lyme disease. And hey, as I mentioned at the beginning of this broadcast, there are millions of people struggling with Lyme. Listen, if somebody has chronic fatigue and they don't know why, it could be Lyme disease. If somebody's getting dark circles under their eyes, it could be Lyme disease. If somebody has that bullseye tick or has a lot of rashes or outbreaks or these really just harsh immune reactions, that can be Lyme disease, okay? And oftentimes if somebody continually gets these flu-like fevers, that can be Lyme disease. So again, it's important you work on naturally strengthening the body to get you to your absolute best with Lyme disease. And again, as I mentioned earlier, there's millions of people struggling with this. Help me share this information now. Hi, Dr. Axe here. I want to say thanks so much for checking out this YouTube video, and also don't forget to subscribe if you want to get more great content on things like herbs, essential oils, natural remedies, and how to use food as medicine. Also, check out more of our content on my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.